I have found the best Father's Day gift site, DistilUnion.com. Distill Union crafts sleek, problem-solving essentials like Wally wallets and Ferris key organizers, designed with a less is more philosophy. Their durable, intuitive products simplify everyday routines with style. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and get 20% off using code GANG, or head to DistilUnion.com.
Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
All right. It is time to get down to business, y'all. We're about to get down to business. We're going to get down to the business of getting to business. I just made that up. Pretty profound, I think. Man, I know everybody around here that works in the building is getting tired of my my fanboy behavior. Because I have been a fan of WBT for so long. I talk about that all the time. And while none of the hoity-toity, highfalutin hosts on any of these shows have ever listened to me on the radio in my career, because they've told me, they make a point to tell me that. I've listened to all of them. And you know, I'm no amateur. It's not amateur hour up in here. In Charlotte radio, when it comes down to Charlotte radio, I'm way up there. They should have all been listening to me. But I just did it again because, you know, we're in the same building with the TV station, and we have the TV on the news in here, and they just showed one of the news people on TV, and I said, "Oh, hey, I was just in the bathroom with that dude." I was like, "Look at that! I made water next to him, didn't I?" I mean, I did. You know, I'm all wide-eyed. But you know what I would do if I were you as a listener to this radio station? I would make sure all of the other hosts know how disappointed you are in them, that they didn't know or haven't listened to me on the radio for years. Start with that Pete Callender. He was the first one to just come out and say it. What's wrong with him? And then I said, well, I've been listening to you for years. I've been a fan of yours for years. And he laughed like I was lying. I said, since you were a news guy on WBT. And he was like, oh, well, he looks like a liar, but I guess he's not one. That's what he was thinking. But yeah, let him know. Let him know. So we're going to have a great show tonight. I know that for a fact. You know why? Because I manifested it. All day I was manifesting that tonight's show is going to be just top of the line. And you know, when you manifest something, it happens. According to 39% of adults in our culture here today. In our society, 39% of people believe in manifesting. Manifesting is when you think positively or visualize that something can happen, or visualize that you can make something happen by visualizing it, even without taking any other action. 39% of people believe that in U.S. America. Younger adults are more into it than older adults, obviously. And you know why? Because younger adults are not as much into the Jesus as older adults are. They, you know, like we were talking about last night, you know, there's the average and percentage of people who are, you know, raised with a faith in some sort of religion that percentage is growing in U.S. America, and it's not good. And that's why people act a fool all the time. That's why they don't know how to act in public. That's why they don't know how to go without throwing out the bad cuss words. So just think of that. Think about if you thought that, look, you know what? I need a new car. So I'm going to sit here and imagine being in a new car, and I'm not going to do anything to, work to save money for a new car. I'm not even going to go to the dealership and see what kind of lease payment I could get on a new car. I'm just going to visualize it and hope. And I'll end up getting it just because of the positive thoughts. And you know what else they talk about? The universe. The universe provides. The universe. But I've found with most young people, when they say the universe, they just don't want to offend anybody around them by saying God. So they'll say the universe. Those are the people I know, because I don't know that many heathens. I do, but they work in the daytime at this radio station. You don't want me to start naming names. But this whole, and I know the Charlotte community, because a lot of Charlotte believes in this kind of stuff. A lot of the hippie type culture, the ones who wear the hemp clothing and things. They have the crazy green hair and stuff. Those people, they believe in, things happening because the universe made them happen, or you manifested it, or some crystal got recharged and made your life good today. But that all comes from our society getting away from family values, religion. And I'm not telling you what religion it has to be. I'm not doing that. My religion is all about the Jesus. Some people call that Christianity. I believe that's what they call it. But believing in a higher power other than just, rocks or whatever. Because, imagine that. You're holding a rock in your hand and you think that it's giving you powers. I was superstitious when I was growing up. I was an athlete. And I know a lot of you now are going, I knew it. He sounded like an athlete. But I was very superstitious because a lot of athletes are, they have their lucky socks, or they don't shave on game day and things like that. A lot of them. And so one night I was getting ready for a baseball game, and I couldn't find the let's say the underwear that I was supposed to wear, because it was my lucky jock strap. I know that sounds ridiculous. And my older brother said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "We're Christians. We don't believe in all that." And right then I stopped being superstitious. For the most part. I'm still a little jumpy with an umbrella open inside. But I'll do it if y'all want me to prove a point. But it's just, something that I've noticed as a result of people who are pulling away from the traditional American family traditions and all. And look, I'm also the type of person that says, as long as you're not hurting anybody else and you're not infringing upon anybody else's rights or freedom or property, pretty much do what you want. But I can say that I think it's a problem. You should have the right to do it, but I think that it's a problem. Just my opinion. Okay, and there is a mental condition that has been sweeping the United States for a long time that's very destructive. Do you have this mental condition? I guess we'll find out next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up.
I have found the best Father's Day gift site, DistilUnion.com. Distill Union crafts sleek, problem-solving essentials like Wally wallets and Ferris key organizers, designed with a less is more philosophy. Their durable, intuitive products simplify everyday routines with style. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and get 20% off using code GANG, or head to DistilUnion.com.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, it is going strong. The TJ Ritchie Show. It's my new political podcast on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT, and you need to sign up and get all the inside scoop on everything and get the special little perks by being a member of the Ritchie Gang. Be a gangster. Just go to tjritchie.com and sign up today.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Yes. Hello. I forgot to say earlier that tonight is Ladies' Night on the TJ Ritchie Show. TJ Ritchie. Y'all didn't know I could do that, did you? Yeah, it's Ladies' Night, so make sure you tell all the ladies that this is special Ladies' Night on WBT. And guys, you know where the ladies are going to be. You remember those radio commercials when they would do Ladies' Night, and they would always say that, guys. They would say, ladies in free before 10. $1 draft. $1 hot damn shots. Guys, you know where the ladies are gonna be. Oh, life was fun back then. Now it's just a great big mess, y'all. It's just a great big mess. Everything's burning down. I saw a clip today on the social medias, and I love overly dramatic celebrities who act like they're so brilliant. And they're really just as dumb as they come. I mean, most of these celebrities are such, what do they say, dunderheads. I'm trying not to cuss. But yeah, they're just such idiots. Even if I like their work. See, I'm one of those that can separate someone's work from their idiocy. If I like their work enough, I can say, all right, well, I'll go watch their movies or their TV shows or whatever. But I still think they're a moron. I think Alec Baldwin is funny. I think Alec Baldwin is a good actor. I like his shows, his movies. So I can still dislike him and dislike his principles and his personality and all of that, and enjoy his movies. I don't enjoy George Clooney's movies enough to give him a pass on that. So to me, George Clooney is just a blowhard, mental gnome who thinks that he's so brilliant, such a world leader. And let's face it, nobody would give 2 cents for his opinion if he weren't good looking. He could be a good actor and have his same opinions and his same condescending personality and everything. Nobody would pay much attention to him but because he's handsome, everybody falls in line. Oh, George Clooney. So he's an example of somebody that I don't like his work enough to give him a pass for being a dumb liberal. This person that I'm going to play for you here, I do like his work enough. As a matter of fact, he was the star of one of the greatest television dramas in the history of television. It's called Breaking Bad. And on the social medias today, I was perusing. That's what I do. I peruse. And I came across the social media account that I follow that a lot of people follow called World Star. World Star. It started out with just being all about hip hop and people fighting and things like that. But now they cover, they do a lot of news. I mean, they're constant with the news and all of that. So they say that this clip has resurfaced. I think they said that it was out in 2023, and it's Bryan Cranston, Walter White of Breaking Bad, discussing MAGA. And this is what he said.
When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them. So it's to teach us in the woke world to open up and accept the possibilities that our privilege has created blind spots for us. And we need to exhale and breathe in and allow an expansion of our experience and our minds to be able to say, maybe I haven't.
Okay. Bryan Cranston, ladies and gentlemen. Brilliant. So the mental condition that cripples our society, it runs rampant on the left, is called white guilt. Bryan Cranston illustrated it perfectly right there. He knows that he doesn't live a normal lifestyle. He knows that he has more money and more clout because of his money and fame than 99% or 99.9% of America. So he, as what he feels is Mighty Whitey, we'll call him, Mighty Whitey is always in search of moral authority. He doesn't really care about what he refers to as, what do you call the African American experience or the black experience? Is that what do you call it? But he doesn't care about that. All he cares about is everybody thinking that he's not. Like, I see you. I see. It's called the bigotry of low expectations. He thinks that all the black people in America need him, Mighty Whitey, to come down from his privileged perch and give them a hand or they won't make it. It's disgusting. And it is racist, because the definition of racism is when you believe that your race is superior to other races. Racism is not telling a joke that may be offensive to one group or another. That's bigotry. Racism means that you think you were born into a race that is superior to other races. So therefore, when you have this attitude that black people can't make it unless I speak up for them, then you're letting the world know that you think you're better than whichever group it is that you are supposedly helping and speaking for. And in this case, it's black people. Bryan Cranston, Mighty Whitey, thinks that he has to speak for. All in the search for moral authority, so everybody knows how wonderful he is, how caring he is. But again, like most of these celebrities, lead by example, Brian. Mr. White, lead by example. You've got so much money and so much prestige. You just take whatever you've got in the bank, a little bit, like the example last night with Rosie O'Donnell. Take $5 million, live on that for the rest of your life, and take everything else and sponsor family after family after family, giving them a helping hand. Show us how to do it, since you're so worried about it, since you know the answers. But see, you don't have the answers. You just have this bleeding heart that you want everybody to think that you're so caring. Look what I did. I spoke up. I spoke for black people. Now I'm going to go back to Hollywood and Beverly Hills, and I'm going to have all my white, rich, liberal friends come around and tell me how wonderful I am and how brave I am. Oh. Give me a break. All right. Having flights diverted and delayed and all is very frustrating, but we have a story, and the reason that this flight was delayed by 2.5 hours may be a little more frustrating to you than normal. We'll tell you what it is and find out what you think. Coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, it is going strong. The TJ Ritchie Show. It's my new political podcast on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT, and you need to sign up and get all the inside scoop on everything and get the special little perks by being a member of the Ritchie Gang. Be a gangster. Just go to tjritchie.com and sign up today.
He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Hey, the phone number here is 704-570-1110. Or if you are from Winfield, Louisiana, such as I, then you would say 704-570-1110. However you want to do it, it'll get you in here if you want to say something. Before we get into the flight delay story, I got one more point I want to make about the last segment where we had the clip of Bryan Cranston talking about MAGA being racist because it's Make America Great Again, and America's never been great for African Americans. This shows how off kilter he is in his thinking. If he truly believes that America is bad for black people, then he needs to stop and think, or somebody should be able to get through to him, that every time he goes to the polls, the people he votes for make life worse for black people in America. Democrat politicians, professional Democrats, purposely do wrongly by black people because they want to be able to manipulate black people. It started with the disgusting racist president, Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson was an evil, nasty, despicable man, just a cockroach of a person, and an evil racist. Because Democrats want to be able to manipulate black people so they will keep them in power. And you know what? It's not as easy for them to do that anymore. That's why Trump's numbers with African American voters, with black voters, was so high. That's why you see these town hall meetings on the internet in Chicago and places like that, where they're standing up and going, y'all are not doing us right. That's why we support Trump. They're at these city council meetings yelling at the mayor of Chicago, who's also a despicable person. Yelling at him. We know what you're doing. We know what you've been doing to us. And now look at you. You're putting these illegal aliens ahead of us when we've supported you. We've supported the Democrats. And as soon as another group comes along that you feel like you can manipulate for votes, they get preferential treatment. You've seen all of that. That's why whenever the Democrats, whenever they see a black conservative, that is enemy number one to them. Think Clarence Thomas. Think Byron Donalds from Florida. Any black conservative is treated way worse by the Democrats and the media than white conservatives. So that's why to me, it is just so awful the way these white liberals, and especially black leaders in the Democrat Party, it's despicable how they treat black people. I hate it. The Republican Party was founded to fight against slavery. The Republican Party has always been the anti-racist party. Always. And I don't know why more Republican leaders don't say that. Why they don't put it, and maybe because they know that the media would attack them, and you'd have hordes of so-called civil rights leaders who are Democrats and out to do black people no good, would cause a stink, and then the people, the citizens, would believe them over the Republicans. I don't know, but it sucks. To use a professional intellectual term, it sucks. And I wish, every day I wish that more and more people, not just black people, but all of the people that the professional Democrats claim to champion, all of the quote unquote marginalized peoples, would figure them out. Somebody could get through to them and let them, show them that Democrats are out to do them no good at all, out to do them harm. They're users. They're power hungry. And that's why I say, if you are a professional Democrat in 2025, you know the things that you say and the things that you do to maintain power are shady. Democrats can't tell the truth about what they stand for very often. Sure, you have them out that, like this Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Cori Bush and all of these people. They'll come out and say what they really stand for. They hate white people. They hate America. But for the most part, that gets swept under the rug. You can't criticize them. If you criticize them, it's because you're a racist. That's the way the media plays it. That's the way their Democrat counterparts play it. Oh, I'm sure that you're thinking, well, I mean, I know a Democrat who is a politician and he's not bad or she's not bad. I'm telling you, well, let me put it this way. I like Ben Shapiro's podcast, and I was listening to his podcast the other day, and he had some representative on who's a Democrat, and he was on with Ben Shapiro, who's a conservative, and it was like, they were finding common ground, and the guy came across as being level-headed and understanding, yeah, that's right, Ben. I just, I know we can come together on these things. And he just could not make it through the 10-minute interview without hitting that Democrat talking point. It's just like they can't control themselves. And when he said, the top income earners need to pay their fair share. Out. You just pulled the mask off. Because anybody that says that is full of it. That's that Democrat just, you pull a string in the back of their heads and they say, pay your fair share, pay your fair share, pay your fair share, like a see and say. I say, the Democrat says, pay your fair share. Okay. All right, now I'm through with that. Through with that rant. If you got something that you want to say, you can call 704-570-1110. It's ladies' night. Don't forget that. It's ladies' night on the TJ Ritchie Show, and we got more coming up next.
It's TJ Ritchie.
I have found the best Father's Day gift site, DistilledUnion.com. Distill Union crafts sleek, problem-solving essentials like Wally wallets and Ferris key organizers, designed with a less is more philosophy. Their durable, intuitive products simplify everyday routines with style. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and get 20% off using code GANG, or head to DistilledUnion.com.
Burger sauces and hot dog sauces are so popular right now, and the best I've had come from Chicago and Big Fork brands. Along with Chicago's finest sauces, Big Fork also has delicious bacon sausage, mouth-watering bacon hot dogs, keto and paleo-friendly meat sticks, and a whole lot more. And you're going to get a big 20% discount right now when you go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG at checkout. Do it now. You're going to love it.
Podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Man, I'm sick of the rain. Maybe it's finally gone. Because I got one day when I'm not doing a radio show, when I'm not doing 2 radio shows a day, and that's tomorrow. So I got to get out on that lake, get out there and get my tanning going, so I live up to my nickname, LeBron's. All right. If you have ever experienced a delay or a diversion during a commercial flight, it's a pain. But Monday, there was a Delta flight from Detroit to L.A. that made an emergency landing, and it was a medical emergency because someone's dog that they had on the flight was it's experiencing some medical issues. There was a veterinarian on the flight. Veterinarian stabilized the dog, but said, we need to land somewhere because the dog needs to be in a hospital. So they landed in Minneapolis, and 181 passengers were delayed for 2.5 hours. But the pilot made an announcement that said the dog is expected to make a full recovery. So the dog's life was saved. And it pointed out in the story that there were no mentions of any complaints from people. And you know that there were no complaints because the way people are about their dogs and pets now in 2025, if anybody complained, they would have gotten maybe physically abused by all of the other 180 passengers. It would have probably been just a complete beat down if you said anything that they would construe as being negative about a dog. I'm not saying that they should have let the dog die by any means. I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing out that by putting in the story that there were no complaints is not news. Imagine what would happen. Imagine how people right now are feeling about me just for bringing up the story and not saying, thank God they saved the dog. Even though I said that, they should save the dog. I don't hate animals. I just don't believe that animals should be treated like they're humans. That's where the problem comes in. People go and act stupid about their pets and treating them and expecting other people to treat them like they're human children. They're not. They're great. They can be great. Some of them aren't so great. They're mean. And, tear up stuff. But I get it. I get people love their pets, but they're not the same as humans and should not be treated the same. And people in this article were saying they had never heard of a plane making a medical emergency, diverting the plane in a medical emergency for a pet. Now, 10 years ago, the story would have been not that they diverted the flight, but that there was a dog on a plane to begin with. People used to not take their pets. Mainly, let's just talk about dogs. Nobody's carrying, cats around to the middle of the city and on vacation and on flights and stuff like that as much as they are dogs. And don't tell me anything about service animals. Because I get it. I know what service animals are. I also know that people have abused that whole, this is a service dog thing. And they're giving you a bad name if you really need a service dog. Listen, I ran a charity for, 20 years that dealt with kids who are terminally ill and chronically disabled. So I've had my knowledge of and I've witnessed what medical service dogs do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who use their dogs as attention surrogates. Your dog gets attention, so you get attention. Leave the dog at home. Listen, 9 times out of 10, when you see people dragging their dogs to places like restaurants and things like that, the dog doesn't want to be there. The dog would much rather be at home and you leave the TV on for him. You're dragging it out through Blowing Rock on the busy sidewalks, having to try to find a place where you can, take the dog in to eat or whatever. But getting back to the flight, there was a story that I saw that was linked to this story that a guy said that he was on a flight, he paid for and reserved the window seat. But there was a guy sitting across the aisle that had a dog carrier under his seat that was too big. It was sticking out. And so he moved because it was the guy sitting at the window of that seat, that across the aisle. He had a dog, and two dogs couldn't be next to each other. So they moved him over next to the guy who paid for the window seat. And they then made the guy who wanted the window seat go across the aisle and take the aisle seat because the dog was blocking the exit of that row, and they couldn't do that. So that guy had to go sit by the window, and then the guy who wanted the window ended up having to sit somewhere else because there were two dogs that were getting the preferential treatment. So what should the people who were delayed for 2.5 hours receive? In the article, they talked about how much the airline has to cover the expenses of the employees and the fuel and all of that stuff. But what are the passengers? What should they get? Is that just tough luck? See, because this is new. This is not a person who needed an emergency medical stop. This is brand new. What's the policy for it? Now, I know most people would say, oh, nothing. And I'm not saying I would want any money. I might say I want money for it, but I doubt it. But would anybody have the courage to say it even if they did? They thought, you know what, I just got, I'm going to miss meetings or whatever now because we had to get this dog to Minneapolis. I need to be reimbursed. I guarantee you nobody would have the courage to say it, even if they felt it. They would say it if it were a human. If a man had a heart attack or something and had to be diverted to Minneapolis and they lost 2.5 hours of their lives before they could get to where they were trying to go, they'd be screaming about that. It wasn't my fault he had a heart attack. He shouldn't have been fat. They'd be insulting that guy. But they'd never say it about a dog. If it were me, I fell out with a heart attack and people were delayed for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it was. Oh, man, they'd be up in my wife's face yelling at her. Why'd you let him get so fat? Having a heart attack, putting the rest of us out. 2.5 hours. I was supposed to be in L.A., which you can't, I don't know. If you're leaving Detroit, going to L.A., you really looking forward to that trip? It's just like 6 with one, half a dozen in the other. Oh, yeah. They'd be wishing that I died. I hope he does die. Inconveniencing all of us. How about a salad every now and then, you fat... It would be a pitchfork mob coming at me. That'd be a oxygen, chest compressions, the whole thing. They'd have those defibrillators out and they'd say, wait, don't let me shock him. Having the gall to have a heart attack, put all of us out, inconvenience all of us. But not a dog. They don't want that. And it just, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not really. So, we got more coming up. Hey, it's TJ, and the TJ Ritchie Show will be a multi-touch marketing option for all the cool businesses in town. I have no idea what that means. That was written by our business department, obviously, for me to read. If you're a cool business, I guess you know what it means. So go to tjritchie.com and find out more.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
And it's ladies' night. Don't forget that. Ladies' night on the show. Let's get some ladies on the phone. Here, they still have those 900 numbers that people, they brought those back. Didn't they bring back the 900 lines?
I think so, maybe.
No, come on, ladies. 704-570-1110. You don't even have to be calling about anything in particular. We just celebrate. We're celebrating ladies tonight. So, husbands, get your wives to call in if they're watching Fire Country or something. Go tell them to call in. Fire Country. This is an interesting little survey to me, and I think it's wrong. Not wrong in what they found in this survey, but wrong because I don't agree with what the people said. And it is, this is a hard-hitting story, too, so this is going to be serious. They surveyed people to find out America's favorite gas station snacks. And then in the headline it says, nothing healthy. Like, who in the world would ever expect, if you just ask people what their favorite gas station snack is, that they would say anything healthy? Like, they're going to say, I love the kale, the dried kale chips. Okay, so we'll go through. There were 11 of them. And Lonnie, you see if you agree with any of these. Okay, number 11, peanut M&Ms.
I'll pass.
Okay, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, number 10.
Acid reflux.
Me, I got that too. I got it really bad.
Yeah, man.
You know that song by Luke Bryan, and it says 1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita shot.
Yep.
Man, if I drank half a margarita, I would be reaching for the Nexium and Tums.
I hear the song, I start to gurgle.
Oh man, it's like I start to wheeze. Okay, but anyway, so we're now at number 9, nacho cheese Doritos.
I can deal with that.
Okay, Starburst Minis.
Not a big candy guy.
Me either. Bugles.
Nah, no.
Snickers.
If I had to, I could deal with a Snicker. Yeah.
Chex Mix.
No.
White people love Chex Mix. You know that? I mean, oh, you got Chex Mix? Sure. I mean, I can take it or leave it. I don't like those hard brown pieces that we call Melba toast or whatever that. No, it's that rye.
Yeah.
Those little crunchy rye pieces.
I can take those.
Oh. But I mean, you say that in a group of white people, and they go, "That's my favorite part." It's like, dude. Taquitos.
No.
Nah. Skittles.
Yeah, old school favorite.
Yeah, my wife loves hard candy, fruity candy, stuff like that. She's got blow pops stashed all over the house and Skittles, and
I can't deal with it now.
And what are the Starbursts and sweet tarts. I mean, it's just, I'm expecting one day to walk in and her be wearing a candy necklace, nerd ropes, all that kind of stuff. Rice Krispie Treats was number 2.
My favorite.
That's your favorite?
Yes.
And beef jerky is number 1.
Absolutely not. But beef jerky used to be a thing for me back when I was younger.
Yeah.
Slim Jim, Macho Man Randy Savage. Yes.
Yeah. I'm a Slim Jim. Like if I'm stuck, because I love convenience store. I just love convenience stores because everything's a snack. Everything's a treat. When I was a kid, I didn't get, my mom would say, "I'm not buying that because you just eat it." Well, right. That's what, so we didn't have things very often like Little Debbie's and stuff like that in the house. Oh. And then she would say, "Well, every time I buy something like that, y'all eat it in one day, you and your brother." And I go, "Because we don't ever get it. We don't know when we're going to get it again. So we have to scarf it down." So when I go into a convenience store, I am just like, in heaven, you know. So I'm going to get just some dry roasted peanuts. I like those. And the Slim Jim, I might get if I'm going to get a candy bar type thing, it'll be Reese's. And my number one ultimate gas station snack is an iced honey bun.
Oh man,
that's my favorite. That's when I'm really on the trying to increase the size of my back.
I keep it simple, man. I go with blue Doritos and a slushie, man. That's
okay.
Me.
So the Cool Ranch Doritos, those are the blue ones.
Yeah.
Is that the blue ones?
Yeah.
Okay. And a slushie. I can't get down with a slushie. Unless you're talking about something like an icy.
Yeah, slushy icy.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. Yeah, I can do that. But I always want to get a beer, just a Lucy, just one beer. And because I don't understand the open container law.
Right.
I don't get that. You're either driving over the limit or you're not. What does it matter if you're sipping a beer? It's sitting there in the cup holder, one beer, but you're not at a 0.08. Or it's not, so you've had half a beer. They pull you over and they say, you got an open container. Like, what? What difference does it make? It hasn't impaired me any. Just to have it open? What if I had it open and hadn't even had a sip out of it yet? I'd still get popped. I mean, I like the police and all, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Now, where I'm from in Louisiana, we have drive-through liquor places. And that doesn't mean just package. You pull up, you order into the speaker like you're at McDonald's, and you can order, give me a case of Miller Lite, 2 frozen margaritas, a Crown and Coke Icy, and a fifth of Captain Morgan. And they'll give you your total, tell you to pull up. You pull up to the next window. They hand it all through the window to you.
At a drive-through.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. Louisiana is the capital of loopholes. All right? So they have open container laws. So when they hand you those frozen cocktails out of their window into yours, it's got a lid on it, and they hand you a straw. They don't give it to you as an open container. If you choose to put the straw in it, then it becomes an open container. So the liquor store is not held, responsible for it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But the fine, upstanding people of Louisiana will always wait until they get home to put that straw in that drink. I bet they've never had a case of it going the other way. So there we go. I can't believe that Reese's didn't make the list and Honey Buns didn't make this list. What is this world coming to? All right, hopefully we'll be talking to some ladies. Ooh, it's a lady in the next segment. So 704-570-1110, Ladies Night on the TJ Ritchie Show. More next.
The TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
I have found the best Father's Day gift site, DistilledUnion.com. Distill Union crafts sleek, problem-solving essentials like Wally wallets and Ferris key organizers, designed with a less is more philosophy. Their durable, intuitive products simplify everyday routines with style. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and get 20% off using code GANG, or head to DistilledUnion.com.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
I'd be willing to bet that song will be played live in Charlotte tomorrow night. Isn't Pantera coming with Metallica? Okay. So they'll be playing this one. That's for sure. Pantera. Metallica. Tomorrow night at the men's club. That's not where they're playing, is it? Is that still open, the men's club? No. What do I know? I live in the suburbs. That's where I live. All right, so wait, hold on a minute. I think I got a nibble on my line here. Ooh, it's a lady. It's ladies' night, and we have a lady caller. Is your name Snow White? It says up here.
That's correct.
Okay.
And those have been my names in the past, census or the IRS. They have a good record of me.
All right. So, so you're the very first caller of the very first ladies' night on the TJ Ritchie Show.
Well, wonderful, and I look forward to hearing you many, many, many nights, as often as I can.
Well, thank you.
I've been so glad you're on. I've been listening to WBT, I think, all my life. Seems like Big Waves may have been the first radio station I may have ever listened to. I was like 12, 14 years old, so I've been around a long time, and I've familiar with H.A. Thompson and Don Russell and Stacy Sims and even back further than that. And I'm so glad that you're on. And
well, I appreciate it. So what are you doing tonight? You just hanging out?
That's about it.
Okay. Me too.
A little bit of cleaning house and then trying to relax and find something that I will eat.
Yeah. And me too. I'm not used to being out on Friday nights because I have another job. I'm having to work 2 jobs here in this Trump economy. It's killing me. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I have 2 jobs, and I'm not usually out on Friday nights at all. I'm watching that. Every Friday night there's a marathon of Everybody Loves Raymond reruns. I watch that until about 9:30, and then I go to bed. So I'm really burning the candle.
Well, I can't shut my eyes that early in the night. I usually burn the midnight oil, so to speak. But,
good for you.
I've worked the 2 jobs before, and I know how hard that is, and long jobs. I'm thankful that we're going to have more jobs coming to the area, and they're going to get hopefully some skilled workers in trade schools and. Everybody can't go to college.
I know. I went on a tirade about that last night, and I think I really made a difference. There's going to be a movement happening now, an anti-college movement. No, I'm just kidding. But I really appreciate you listening, and you sound very sweet, and I'm so glad you're out there, and you are a treasured member of the TJ Ritchie radio family, because I'll always remember that you were the first caller for the first ladies' night.
Oh, wow. That is quite an honor, and I will enjoy that, and I plan to listen, and I'm already falling in love with you and the program. I'm right there with you with thinking animals have their place, but they're not humans. That's, somebody thinks more they're animals than they do the mother. Something's a little wrong.
That says a lot, doesn't it, about something. Well, thank you very much, and you have a good night. Don't stay up too late burning that midnight oil. And get that house clean. I'll talk to you later. Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
There we go. All right. It would have hurt my feelings if we didn't get any ladies calling to participate. That would have hurt my feelings, and I would have had to threaten to sue somebody and then had a settlement come. Like Chief Jennings. I'm like, you said what? That hurt my feelings. Oh, you'll hear from my attorney. All right. There is somebody that works in the Trump administration. He is the deputy chief of staff for President Donald Trump. and I think he is fantastic. His name is Stephen Miller. I'm sure most of you have seen him. But he was on CNN, and he is a textbook example of how to not accept the media and the left's presentation of things, and don't accept their language. He is on top of every word that they say to him, and he will not take any of their nonsense. So this is that clip, and you listen to how he does this with this CNN anchor.
Investigators believe the migrant was set up. It was a victim of a setup. What is the administration going to do now? And this is an undocumented immigrant. I do want to note that, but this was someone who came forward, was a victim of a crime, and now law enforcement believes he was set up. Go ahead.
Well, I want to clarify what you mean, so we're talking about the same thing. Are you saying this immigrant was here illegally?
Yes, but I am, and that's why I said that. I clarified that.
You said undocumented, and I wasn't clear what that means. I'm assuming they have a fake ID. I'm assuming they have a fake social security number.
That's neither here nor there. That's getting away from the question, Stephen. I want this to be, and call me naive, a good faith discussion about what's happening right now.
But when we use language that's designed to obscure the truth, that's not good faith.
All right,
an illegal alien is an illegal alien. They're not an undocumented migrant.
Okay, that's fine. That's another discussion for another day.
I don't know the details of the assassination threat. All I can say, based on what you're telling me, is there's an illegal alien in our country who's making menacing threats. Regardless of the facts or circumstances, we don't want him here. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and I would gladly come back on when I have more information to share with you.
They were set up, just to be clear. But quickly,
where
is the White House on habeas corpus?
The illegal alien was treated unfairly. Yes, I'm sure the illegal alien was treated very unfairly.
Where is the...
Okay, so that's what I was talking about the other night. We can't accept their language. The Marxists in the media, the Marxists who are in charge of the Democrat Party, they assault the language and they change things, and it becomes part of the accepted language that we use all the time. And we can't do that. It's not an undocumented migrant. It is an illegal alien. If someone is here in this country illegally from another country, they are illegal aliens. You can't just start using language that softens it and makes it seem like it's nicer. They're talking about a guy who's accused of making a threat to assassinate President Trump. And if I'm not mistaken, she kept saying they were set up. It's one guy, right? Isn't it one guy? So is she saying they because she doesn't know, because she hasn't actually talked to him to find out what his pronouns are? So she won't call it him? What is she talking about? But once we accept what they say, then we're playing on their terms. We're playing on their field. Don't even do it. He's exactly right. Don't come at me and act like I'm not having a good faith discussion because you're referring to somebody as something that they're not. They're not an undocumented migrant. And he's breaking the law. Don't act like he didn't break the law. I mean, we just don't need to even, because we've got the momentum on our side now. There are more people who are getting where we're coming from. The Biden administration opened up people's eyes who never even thought of politics much. And to be honest with you, that's part of the reason I'm on here right now. I'm trying to speak to the people who just got into politics and what they need to know. They made the decision in this last election to get involved and start paying attention. And that's one of the main things that you can learn right now, is that you should not accept the way they talk, because they're very crafty. The Democrat is a wily character. And she's getting so frustrated with him. And then when he said he's in the country illegally and we don't want him here, you should have seen her face. I wish you could have seen the video. She's just like, oh my God. You know, about like what people's faces were like earlier when I said people don't need to treat dogs like humans. I'm sure there were a bunch of pearl clutching going on then. That's what she was. Oh my God. Well, I thought we could have a good faith discussion. Yeah, good faith when you're the one throwing in sneaky, misused phrases. Mr. Stephen Miller said, no, thank you. We'll have a good faith discussion when then you can play by the rules. Just love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Oh, we got the phones hot now, so we'll see what we've got on there coming up next. Hang on.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Hey, it's TJ, and the TJ Ritchie Show will be a multi-touch marketing option for all the cool businesses in town. I have no idea what that means. That was written by our business department, obviously, for me to read. If you're a cool business, I guess you know what it means. So go to tjritchie.com and find out more.
Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Ooh, Ladies Night continues. The very first Ladies Night of the TJ Ritchie Show. 704-570-1110 is the number. Not exclusively taking ladies on the phones, but ladies are given preferential treatment because we're trying to get the guys to come out. And guys, you know where the ladies are going to be. All right. Hello, Angie.
Hello, TJ Ritchie.
How are you?
I am good, thank you. I just wanted to call in as a documented female U.S. citizen to say, what's up, TJ?
Hey, I'm just having a ball here. Just loving, not being able to relax on a Friday night. It's my favorite thing.
Hey, I'm glad you're up a little later tonight. It's good to hear your voice on the radio again.
Thank you. And where are you from, Angie? Where do you live?
From Lincolnton.
Lincolnton. Wow.
Yeah.
So, I've been in Lincolnton a lot.
Yes, I missed you whenever you were doing the crawl through downtown several months back. Didn't get to come hang out with you. I hate that.
Yeah, my wife and I did, for people who don't know, my wife and I used to do a thing called Small Town Adventures on Saturdays with our friends, my little friend Jenny and her handsome husband Michael, and we would go make, these videos on social media with all the different places we were trying. It's mainly just bar hopping.
I definitely saw those on your Instagram.
Yeah, and then we would just spend the day Saturday in a different small town in the area. So, yeah, I miss you for that.
I know. I miss you too, but I've been a long-time listener, probably 25 years, maybe a little longer than that, whenever you guys first come to Charlotte. So it's good to hear you again, hear you on the radio again, and just be a part of your new adventure.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Angie, and thanks for helping support Ladies Night.
You got it. Go
right.
TJ, go Trump. We'll
Talk
see
to you
ya.
soon.
Thank you.
Right, bye.
Bye-bye.
See? Started a movement. Got a movement. Okay, so we have a fella calls himself Matt, and I don't know exactly what he wants to say, but so this might be dangerous. Be ready to dump him. Where is the dump button? Dump is when you hit the button and it dumps the call into nowhere land, never to be heard from again. So let's see. Hey, Matt.
Hey, TJ, you don't have to put your finger on the button. I don't cuss. I'm a good guy. Anyway, welcome to the Blowtorch, man. I've listened to your show before, and everybody keeps calling and saying, "Oh, I think you're going to do it." I know you're going to do great.
Oh, thank you.
But anyway, you were talking about the language, how they try to soften everything up and make everybody, well, they're just nice people that just accidentally got here, and we're going to call them this. Well, and this is the truth. My name really is Matt. I have a bunch of DWIs from up north, and I was thinking I could still drive around, and when the cops pull me over, I could just tell them I'm an undocumented automobile operator. Because drunk driver, convicted drunk driver is such a nasty little term. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, but anyway, brother, I just thought I'd go.
That's pretty fun.
Hey, or you can translate that into a lot of other things, like Tijuana Brown. She's not. She didn't defraud the federal government. She made a couple of unauthorized withdrawals.
Yeah, well, allegedly, right? I don't know enough about that story to be throwing anything out, really. But that's
no. She's already been convicted and gotten a felony for doing that before. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. But
all right, well, I appreciate it, Matt. Thank you very much, bud.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Now I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that every illegal alien in the country is a bad person. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all, because I don't believe that. But yeah, I was criticizing the Marxists who run the Democrat Party, that, you know, the Marxists who still operate under the term Democrat, and how they want everybody to think of every illegal alien as, you know, just a lost soul that's looking for a better life and all of that, when a lot of them are here as criminals, the other criminals, because breaking a law, it makes it a crime. You know, you're a criminal if you break the law. And immigration laws are set just like any other law. If you break an immigration law, then it's a crime. I mean, I've known a lot of people in my time who were very nice, who had found themselves on the wrong side of the law from time to time. So it doesn't mean that they're all bad people. And I never said that, and I didn't, because I don't think that. I don't believe that. But if we're going to have laws, then they need to be upheld. And, you know, we have immigration laws to begin with because we're supposed to be able to pick and choose who we have in the country. And people that we have in the country are supposed to be people that we've allowed to come in because they can better our society. So when you have a situation like the Biden administration or during the Obama administration, when they're just busing people in, flying people in, opening the border to anybody who wants to walk across and say, "Hey, I'm declaring, you know, that I'm leaving my country because I'm in danger," or whatever. I mean, you can't have a society that way. No other countries do that. Why is U.S. America expected to do it? Well, we are supposed to be choosy about who comes in. And the Democrats know that. But the Democrats can't have complete chaos and a tearing down of the American system without doing things like opening the border to people who are not really that interested in being Americans. You know, that's you hear people all the time, assimilation is so important. Because we do have a culture, a distinctive American culture. We're the best country that has ever been created. We're the freest, most prosperous nation in the history of the world. And that did not happen by accident. But that's what the Democrats, commucrats, Marxists, democrats, whatever you want to call them, that's what they're trying to tear apart. The things that made us the greatest nation in the history of the world. And we can't let them get away with it. They hate America. We love it. So we need to act like it. And our representatives, the Republicans who represent us in Washington, need to act like it at all times. All right, we got more coming up.
I have found the best Father's Day gift site, DistilledUnion.com. Distill Union crafts sleek, problem-solving essentials like Wally wallets and Ferris key organizers, designed with a less is more philosophy. Their durable, intuitive products simplify everyday routines with style. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and get 20% off using code GANG, or head to DistilledUnion.com.
Bringing the heat.
Oh, hot, hot, hot.
Whatever that means. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
That's good. Okay. Ladies' Night. This is the last segment of Ladies' Night. Seems like it's been a raging success. All the ladies are just so thrilled, giddy, if you will, to get to call in and speak to me. Oh, I know how to make the ladies smile. I sure do. Okay, so this was an awkward situation on a flight to Orlando. And the flight was delayed in landing, so I think they were circling, and they had been circling for a while. And you remember a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, I'm not sure, there was a guy who was a trumpet player, and he was stuck on a flight with a bunch of people, and he was going to entertain them, and he was walking up and down the aisles playing his trumpet. Well, I don't know how this happened, but how this situation with the Orlando flight took place. But there's a young girl. She looks to be maybe, I don't know, fourth or fifth grade. And she has the intercom that the flight attendant uses, and she's entertaining the passengers by singing Disney songs. I think this is a song from Moana. This is it. This is what it sounded like.
Every turn I take, every trail I track, every path I make, every road leads back to the place I know, where I cannot go, where I long to be. See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me.
All right, we get the idea. So they said that people online were being so rude and leaving mean comments and all of that on the video. And I guess maybe her mom posted it. I'm not sure. But how did she end up being up there? Did her mom say, my daughter can entertain everybody while we wait? She can sing Disney songs. And then the flight attendant was like, oh, okay. Or was the flight attendant, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that would be okay. But who would go on social media and insult a little girl? I mean, that's just, now you may be thinking, all right, I'm trapped here and I'm having to listen to this terrible singing or whatever, but don't say it. What does that do? Does that make you feel like you're cool or something? If you're an adult and you're insulting a little kid, what is wrong with you? Now, granted, I saw the trumpet player guy, and I've also seen that happen with a violinist and stuff. And everybody was like, oh, that's so great. It's so great. I don't know that I would be loving that. If I'm sitting on a plane, having to hear a loud trumpet walking up and down the aisles. But I'm not going to insult the person. especially if it was a kid. These are grown-ups, though, that did that. But you do have to sit, like I say, with the grown-ups, and the adults, you have to wonder, all right, did they really think that they were doing something to help people, or were they seeking attention? They just wanted attention. Because I'm kind of cynical when it comes to that sort of thing. That's why I want to know how this situation happened. The mom said, "Let my little girl sing on the intercom." But either way, it didn't hurt you. If you were on the plane, you're not scarred from that. People are just mean. Now, when I was that age, I was the little kid that would be entertaining people but I would do comedy and stuff. I didn't sing a whole lot when I was that age. But my parents used to always try to get me to do impressions and things like that in front of their friends. Here's what happened. And I got time here as ladies' night comes to an end. When I was 8 or 9 years old, we lived in a little neighborhood that I could walk over a couple of streets and through a trail in the woods and come right up behind Walmart. So I had heard my uncle, it was, my cool uncle, that you call him a cool uncle because he doesn't make you follow rules or anything like that. He had let me listen to Richard Pryor. And I loved it. So I would save my lunch money, not buy lunch at school, and I would walk to Walmart and buy Richard Pryor albums and sneak them into my house and listen to them in headphones. So my parents couldn't hear that I was listening to that smut talk that Richard Pryor had. But he was my idol at that time, you would call it. I wanted to be like Richard Pryor. And I would learn every routine. I could do it word for word, breath for breath, just exactly the way he did it. And my friends were over one day, and I started doing Richard Pryor routines for them. And my mom heard me, and she got mad. She was madder than fish grease. And she said, "Wait till your daddy gets home. Where did you get that? Give me those albums. You're not listening to that," or whatever. So I didn't get a whooping, but I got a good lecture, And then about a week later, their friends came over, their best couple friends. Their names were JP and Barbara. And they called me from my bedroom into the living room. And I go in, and my dad looks at me and he goes, "Hey, do some of that routine you were doing the other day for your friends. Do that for Mr. JP and Miss Barbara." And I said, "Really?" They go, "Yeah, but just don't say the ugliest words." Okay. So I could say some of the cuss words, but not the worst ones. So it was, in front of my friends, it was trash and smut, but in front of their friends, it was talent. But they were always pushing me to do stuff not like that, but always entertain their friends and entertain anybody that would come around. So that's what I'm wondering about this little girl on the flight. Did her mom push her up there to do that? Because if we were on a flight like that and my dad said, "Go do some of your comedy routines up there," and I would say, "No, Dad, no, I'm not doing that. No. Go on, do it. They'll love it." And if I would have done it, I would have killed. I'm not going to lie. I would have slayed them. And they would have been, there wouldn't have been any negative comments about it. They would have been like, "Oh, keep going. I was sad we landed. He could have kept going." But a stage mom can be or a stage dad. See, my dad was more of the go do that, go do that, go do that than my mom was. But then when I took the theater scholarship instead of the football scholarship that was offered to me, my dad blamed my mom for always putting it in my head to be an entertainer. So what I'm saying is I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. But I wouldn't have just volunteered to go up and do this on the plane. And people don't need to be insulting this little girl. It's terrible. And she wasn't a bad singer. I mean, there was a little pitchy moment in there in one spot, but the rest of it, she just sounded like a kid singing. Get over yourselves. You're supposed to be adults. Act like it. See, that's why I think this whole country could be better off if they just listen to me. Let me advise you of how to act. I'm going to be running for president, or, well, at least I'm going to try to get that chief of police job, whatever it is that's opening up in Charlotte. I think I need to be in charge of something other than this little show. All right, that's it. First week is in the can. I appreciate everybody's support, and I appreciate your listening and all of that. I really do. Now remember, God loves you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
I have found the best Father's Day gift site, DistilledUnion.com. Distill Union crafts sleek, problem-solving essentials like Wally wallets and Ferris key organizers, designed with a less is more philosophy. Their durable, intuitive products simplify everyday routines with style. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and get 20% off using code GANG, or head to DistilledUnion.com.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, my new political show is on. It's every weeknight from 7 until 9 on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. So go ahead and add TJ Ritchie to your home screen on the phone and download the WBT app.